So good morning and welcome to section 6.3, the percent proportion. You'll notice that I'm actually doing this one at school. Usually I'm sitting at home, but today I'm at school. So the key idea for this is the percent proportion is represented with a proportion. And I'm going to kind of scribble over here. And the formula is A over W. So the part over the whole is equal to the percent over 100. And in this case, we write the percent as just, we strip off the percent sign and just put it over 100. So we can think of this as the part divided by the whole, which is equal to the percent, or this, the percent, divided by 100. And remember, we can use our keywords to figure out which is the part, and that's is, and what is the whole, which is of. And we did this a little bit the day before when we worked on the, we worked in the practice and record journals. So let's see how this really works. So in example 1, what percent of 15 is 12? Well, first thing we do is we're going to set up our proportions. And we know that the constant 100 is always there. So what percent? Percent is usually the easiest thing to find in the question because it has the percent sign after it. So clearly none of these numbers do. So we know that that's really what we're looking for. And then what percent of 15? And that is the whole. So that goes in the denominator. And then is 12 is the part. So that goes here. And I'm going to cross multiply because that's the easiest for me. So 12 times 100 is 1200 is equal to 15p. And then you know from your single step algebra, we're going to divide both sides by 15 to isolate p. And we end up with p is equal to 80. So we add the percent sign to it. Oops, 80. So we add the percent sign to it. Okay, so what percent of 15 is actually, so what percent of 15 is 12? And it turns out to be 80%. So let's try to find a whole. So in example 2, or finding a part, what number is? So the first thing we always do is start with a proportion. So, and we know that the 100 is always constant. And the easiest thing, again, to identify is the percent. So even though it's next to the is, it still is always the percent because it has the percent sign on it. So we put the 36 here. And then what number is? Well, that means that we don't know what that is, and that is the part, so that is our variable. And then of 50 is the whole, so it goes down here. And again, we're going to cross multiply, so 100a is equal to 36 times 50. I did this in class. 36 times 50 is 1800. Divide both sides by 100 from our algebra days. So the part is equal to 18. So let's see here. So example 3, finding a whole. So 50% of what number is 24? Well, we always start out with a proportion. So the part divided by the whole is equal to the percent over 100. So the 100 is constant. 150 is the percent. Again, that's always easy to find because it has the percent sign. Of what number? Well, that of what number means the whole, and that's our variable because it doesn't tell us. And then is 24. So that is the part that goes here. Again, we cross multiply. We get 150w is equal to 2400. We divide both sides by 150. We end up with the whole is equal to 16. And this makes sense that the whole is actually smaller than the part because the original question was 150%. Okay, so on your own, pause me and come back and I'll show you what the answers are to these. So welcome back. So the proportion for these are 3 is the part because it's next to the is, 5 is the whole because it's next to the of, and then we don't know what the percent is. so that goes over 100. P ends up being 60, and don't forget to put the percent. We don't want any numbers that don't have labels. Number 2, 25 is, so 25 is the part of 20. That is the whole. So 25 divided by 20 is equal to percent, because we don't know it, over 100. We do that math out. The percent is equal to 125%. What number is 80% of 60? So we know 80 is the percent because it's with the percent sign, divided by 100. Of 60, so of is the whole, so that goes in the denominator, and we don't know what the part is. We use a for that variable. A ends up equaling 48. 10% of 4 5/10 is what? So we don't know, again, we do not know what the part is, so A. Of 40 5/10 is the denominator, because that's the whole. 10%, so we put the 10, and then it is divided by 100, because that's constant, so the part is equal to 4 5/100. 0.1% of what number is 4? So again, we don't know what the whole is, so that's the variable. Is 4 is the part, so 4 divided by W is equal to 1/10 divided by 100. This ends up, when you do the math, W is equal to 4,000. 1/2 is 20%, 25% of what number? Don't let the fact that this is a fraction blow your marbles, because 1/2, that is the part, because next to the is. The whole is what we're looking for. 25 divided by 100. Now, when we do this, 1/2 times, cross multiply, 1/2 times 100 is 50. And then 25W. And when you divide 25 by both sides by 25, W is equal to 2. So don't let the fraction bug you, because if you just think about it, 1/2 times 100 is 50. So the final example, the bar graph shows the strength of tornadoes that occurred in Alabama in 2011. What percent of tornadoes were EF1s? Well, remember, we're talking about the part divided by the whole is equal to the percent over 100. So we know that there were 58 EF1s, if we look at that really carefully. So that's the whole, the part. We know that there was 145 tornadoes because we added all of the different tornadoes up together. And the percent is what we're looking for, divided by 100. And when we cross multiply, the percent is equal to 40%. So 40% of them were EF1s. So thanks for watching.